In this particular chapter, we are going to talk about the various questions that probably you might have when it comes to having a complete business and the go-to guide that you might need when it comes to installing Biodigester and building a business around this technology. The key parts in this chapter and the lessons that you are supposed to get is that there are a lot of complications and people always have problems when they do not go about the Biodigester learning and construction the right way. So in this chapter, I'm going to break down points or the key topics or the key questions in terms of the Biodigester maintenance, in terms of the Biodigester chemical, and how to replace a septic tank with a Biodigester questions, as well as how to price your Biodigester in this particular chapter of the Biodigester construction. So let's go into the first lesson. The first lesson is about how to replace a septic tank with a Biodigester. What I have come to realize is that most people learn this technology of Biodigester construction, and because it's a good technology, and then people are keen on changing what does not work for them, in which most of the time is the septic tanks, people go and take on jobs that are very difficult to do. And one of the things I will tell you in this Biodigester construction is changing a septic tank into a Biodigester. It's usually done after you have done a lot of jobs and you do understand how the technology works and how it's going to help people in terms of their problem solution when it comes to the toilet wastewater management. It's when you want to replace a septic tank with a Biodigester, there are some things you need to understand. One, the septic tank has been done in such a way that probably the water is in a waterlogged area, or even if it's not in a waterlogged area, there's water seeping into the septic tank. That's why the owner will want you to change the septic tank into a Biodigester. When you go on that site and you're going to do the inspection, look out for the pipes that are coming from the house and they are going into the septic tank. Most of the times, they are deep, they are down. So even if the person is using a P-trap seat, the pipe that goes to the septic tank, because the tank is about 10 or 15 feet depth, the pipe slopes sharp and then it goes into the septic tank. So if you, as a Biodigester installer, want to replace that tank with a Biodigester, one of the things you have to look out for is the level of the pipe and how the slope has been designed. If the slope is too steep, then your advice is to also ask the homeowner or the person you are going to do the work for to raise the pipe. And if there is an S-trap seat in the room, then probably you advise them to also replace the seat with a P-trap so that it comes out and is projected, and then you can get a level for the digester. Remember, Biodigesters are not deep. The depth, maximum depth can be about 4 feet. Ideally, it should be 3 feet. And if it's 4 feet, then it's fine. Then it means that your soak hole or the soak away or where the wastewater is going must also have a depth. That's 6 feet, right? So imagine you meet a place and there's a waterlogged area, and then there's not enough room for you because then the water table is high. You are going to have the same problem the homeowner is having. So when you're going to replace a septic tank with a Biodigester, look out for how high the water table is, 1, and 2, know the level of the pipes that are going into the tank, and 3, go and look at the seats in the house, whether they are P-trap or there's enough room for the seats to be elevated or for the pipes that are coming into the digester to be elevated, because you don't want your digester to go and face the same problem the septic tank is facing. It's also good to know the footing of the building. If the building is in a waterlogged area, then the footing must naturally be up so that then there's enough room for you, and then your digester will not have to go deep. You might have to dig only 1 or 2 feet and let the digester project enough up so that there will be enough room for you for the water to go. In that case, where will the wastewater go? Most of the time, what I advise you to do is to let the homeowner have a tank available or connect the wastewater into the septic tank, that's the old septic tank, and then periodically have the water pumped out, or put a submersible pump on the tank, or do a soak away bit for this particular digester and have the water pump or connect it into a gutter. You cannot do a digester in a waterlogged area if the ground is not good and then you do a soak away, it might not work. We do have the soak hole pit or the drill fill system that we do, but that one comes with a lot of work, a lot of advancement, and a lot of technology. The drill fill system works in such a way that you perforate the base of the pipes, and then before it's released into the soak hole pit, so that some of the water can be seeping on the road leading to the soak hole pit, and then you can lay the place or the digester the chip pipe route with chippings, and then that can absorb some of the water coming from the digester. The key part in digester construction when it comes to the wastewater is that make sure that there's no water in the tank. Otherwise, the same problem that the homeowner is facing when it comes to septic tank, the same problem that you're going to face with the digester. So be very, very careful when you are replacing a septic tank with a biodigester. It takes a lot of finesse, it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of experience.